are live. Dr. Jim, it's great to see you today. I'm excited to offer this powerful session with you through my LinkedIn account. This is energy management. We're talking about managing energy for a FastBraiin worker. Those are folks with a focus attention challenges and who might be also diagnosed with ADHD. Why are we talking about this? Because it's important. And because I have an expert, I have a guru. I got Dr. Jim with me, 40 plus years of experience in this space, but I'm going to let him introduce himself first and then talk about what FastBraiin is. Maybe tell you the tortoise and hare story, maybe.
Okay. David, thanks. Thanks for having me on with you. And I certainly follow you and enjoy you. So thank you very much. I'm Dr. Jim Poole, pediatrician, now retired, had developed the largest practice in the state of North Carolina, where I had 7 offices, seeing 10,000 patients a month. And I did that because I was in another practice I had started, and we had merged with several groups and formed with an internal medicine group, formed 80 doctors strong. I realized they were not doing the right thing. And so at a big meeting, I stood up and said, I'm out of here. And they said, well, if you don't sign up with us, we're kicking you out. And I said, bye. So that's how our impulsivity gets.
Yeah, so someone has FastBraiin.
And that's where that all started. And I went and started taking care of ADHD kids. And as my practice grew from one patient to 10,000 a month, this beautiful girl who was she was a beauty queen. She was president of her class. She was head cheerleader, and she's crying in my office. And I've done everything right, and she's crying. How did she dare cry? And she said, well, you're giving me a pill and you're telling me I have ADHD, so something's wrong with me. And I went, you're right. And in the middle of the night, I came up with the idea of FastBraiin. And so we don't have an attention problem. You're just so daggone boring. So if you think about the people that come into your office and they start kind of going on and or somebody wants to tell the story, and I ran into Julie last week, and you remember she's got a sister whose brother was over in, and you go, whoa, wait a minute. But that's how our brain is going. Our brain is so fast. And I was, in my past, I was head of pediatrics in Stuttgart, Germany for the military. I started a whole bunch of different programs, and I traveled a lot, and I enjoy finding a niche and going after it. Now my niche is really all adults and people with trouble with focus and attention. And I refuse to call them attention deficit. That is the medical term, but I don't agree with it. I stood up at a medical meeting with, I don't know, probably 300 or 400 psychiatrists, and they were going, and they gave me the microphone. Big mistake. And so I took it and I said, so you're telling me that even though I made it to college, played college tennis, made it through med school, have the largest practice in the state, that I have a disability? Yeah. Went, y'all are full of it. You're full of it. And I'm not going to tell my patients that either. And they just sat there dumbfounded, because all they know is to take a pill and give it to you, and that's it. And any of you that are adults, you go get your follow-ups. What do you want? You just want your medicine and you want to get moving on.
Yeah, but there's so many other options, right? FastBraiin is another option. You're not saying medication's bad. You're just saying there's a ton more to it.
So as a quick example, and then we'll get into the workplace, a kid's running out on the basketball court and running all up and down, or he's on the soccer field or football field, and we're screaming and yelling and yay. And then he runs into the classroom and sits down and tries to do English. And he's bored and he's all over the place, and we're getting mad at him and wanting to give him a pill. We didn't when he was out on the field. Why? Because the environment was different.
Yep.
And we have to start thinking of the environment. How do we teach? How do we learn? How do we do things? What we know, those of us that, so I don't use the term ADHD.
Yep,
I
we
use
talked
the
about it.
term fast brain. And at 2 a.m, I misspell brain. So it's got two I's in it.
That's even the
And
more
it's-
impulsivity, right, my brother? I
yeah,
love it.
And then I trademarked it. So that's,
Yep.
the left
So
side
the
of my
interesting
brain.
thing for me, Dr. Jim, is we've been working together for all these years. I've been getting, deeper and deeper and deeper into this is, the the fact that you're trying to change the whole mindset. Like you tell the story of the tortoise and the hare. Like everybody thinks the tortoise is so special, slow and steady wins the race. And what do you say? Like, give 1,000 races, the rabbit wins 999 of them. What's gone on? Why have we flipped this dynamic? Why are we so heck bent on saying, oh, you got to be sitting there focused and attention or else you're no good?
Well, and that's it, David. It's because we got so ingrained that slow and steady wins the race that you have to be slow and steady in your job. You have to be somebody that is quick and fires off. We say, well, he just doesn't know how to pay attention. He's off doing other things. No, he's off conquering the world. Everybody
Getting things
that
done, man. Getting things done.
Everybody that invents something, they don't invent it out of the blue. They invent it out of something that's already been there, but they think of something that nobody else is doing. And so what happens is, Edison, he's crazy. He's crazy. He's great. Boy, I like his light bulb.
Yep.
So we're changing. And so I'm writing the story of the second race, or actually it's not the second race. People don't realize the rabbit was in 1,000 races that he had won. He just lost that one.
He should have been woken up. He should have had like you always say. He wasn't given the right tools.
That's
he
right.
had the right tools, like training.
Didn't have an Apple Watch on to buzz. That's right. And so he wasn't fast while he was sleeping. He was fast while he was awake. But he was bored. He was leading like crazy. So who would you bet on the next race? We're certainly going to bet on the hare.
I would hope so, unless you got something wrong with you.
That's right. So that's what we're trying to. And in medicine terms, I'm not giving rabbits Adderall or Ritalin so they become turtles. You see. So we each have our assets. So what I want you to realize that if you happen to be one of the fast brain type, then you have a different mindset, a different type of brain that does different things and quick.
And you need to be told about that and taught that it's not bad and here's the ways to do it. Yeah. And really one of the bigger areas that we want to talk about is energy management. And you're a big proponent of teaching people how to deal with energy, especially fast brain folks. So that's really the first question here, Dr. Jim, is what are the challenges that fast brain people have with regard to energy management?
Well, I'll just go. How many of you have a spouse who walks in and says, I need you to go do so-and-so? We don't have the energy. We're lying on the couch. We're doing something else. We're not perked up to do it. You have a rhythm to your own energy in the course of a day. And what you want to do is to match your energy with the things that take a lot of energy to do and things that require a lot of focus. So you don't do that in the dull times. And so, I don't understand what you're talking about. I'm talking about when you come in. So I work really well early morning. Some people work well I know a lot of programmers, they like in the evening when it's quiet, nobody's doing.
Yep. I know people, Dr. Jim, that work their best from 12 midnight to 8 in the morning.
That's right. So you've got to figure out, and if you've got a family, you can't do that. So you've got to figure out what is your own rhythm and what is your physical. Now, I'm going to say the first thing for getting in physical shape is to get in physical shape. You got to eat well. If you drink a lot of sugary stuff, you eat a lot of sugary stuff, you're sitting at a table, you're going to be blah.
So a fast brain person has to watch their nutrition.
Have to, as in everybody, watch your nutrition, go and move. We have this thing about school. Sit in the chair for 55 minutes. Bull. I'm good for 15 to 20 minutes. You say, well, I can go 40 minutes. Yeah, but at the end of 20 minutes, that Pomodoro effect,
Pomodoro effect, yeah. Tell people about the Pomodoro effect so they I think it's starting to get a lot more play, even though it's been around
Well,
forever.
it should, and I've been talking about it for years and years. But basically, it's go a period of time that you can really focus and
Not
start it off,
multitask, focus.
focus. And multitasking, there's really no true thing as multitask. So I can't juggle this and write at the same time. So I can juggle this, put this down, and then write, and then go back to juggling this. Oh, he's multitasking. No, I'm not. I'm doing this, and then I'm doing this. So you're doing one thing at a time. And what I want you to do is to focus on 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maximum 20 minutes at a time, and then do a 5-minute break. And a break is not checking your cell phone. That calms that takes your brain, and actually it just does away with motivation. So
you're saying that what are the things that you do to shut down your brain here? So the challenges are that, if we do this Pomodoro method, we might end up looking at their phones. What does that do, and why shouldn't you do it? And what should you be doing instead?
The biggest thing is, how can I stay? What's the goal? The goal is, if I take a break, am I focused on the other end of this? Am I excited? So if you're doing something for 40 minutes and you're tired, but if you're not tired of it at 20 minutes and you take a break, when you come back to it, guess what? You're going to be excited about it. If you're bored at 40 minutes and you stop and take a break, you're not even going to come back. So you want to take that break, and you want the break to be active. That means get your butt out of the chair. Get up, walk around, do something. Don't go check the TV. Don't do your cell phone. The best is to have some weights by your chair, lift weights, go outside, walk around, get something cold to drink, not something heavy to drink.
Yep.
And you got to go. So again, we're after going and going, because that's going to lead in just this overall fatigue. And what we're trying to do is get yourself in overall shape so that you're not in overall fatigue, so that as you move through the course of the day, you're at peak times you're doing. Now, as you look at peak times, for instance, the morning I see is power time. That's the time when you just can really nail it.
That's really for you. Other people might not, but you're a morning time.
But what you want to see is, when is my power time?
Yep.
And then when do I kind of float time? And then when is my slow time? And what do I do in those times? Do I just quit and go lay down? No.
It's interesting, Dr. Jim. The more we talk about it, I definitely see this in myself. Now, one of the things I've seen is change sometimes. Sometimes what I thought was my power time then adjusts. Does that happen? Is that normal?
It is, because if you'll go back and look at, what did I have to eat today? How did I sleep last night? What are my activities? They all affect us, and we don't realize that. So a good way to quickly trying to do, what is my rhythm? And we all have a rhythm.
Yeah, we all do. Yep.
We all have a power time. We all have kind of a float time. And in our float time is when you kind of problem solve and kind of figure out, but you're not into boom, boom, boom. And then you certainly at the end, when you're trying to problem solve and you're tired, no, that's kind of busy work type stuff. But if you can see, what I recommend is just take a sheet of paper, take a week, every hour, 0 to 5. How focused am I? So 8 o'clock, I'm a 3. 9 o'clock, I'm a 4. 10 o'clock, I'm a 1.
Yeah, you're self-assessing, so you can start being honestly self-assessing.
Make yourself a sheet, and then put your activity in that sheet. I had a good patient who I said, you are active like I am. Lunchtime, I'd always take a lunch break, and I would go play a sport or go work out. And he started riding. He said, well, I think I'll start a ride. He rides bikes like 30 miles. So he started riding a bike, and it went up to 2 hours, and he would work 2 hours longer. He would work overtime an hour at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And he doubled the amount of work that he was doing. He got called into the office because people saw him coming in with a bike at 2 p.m. Yeah, I had to write something to the boss.
Isn't it so wild that this is what happens? I'll tell you a great story. I have a powerful guy, highly intelligent, highly skilled, but his energy was like 10 to 3 in the morning. And he wasn't married yet, so we could do that. But I had a tortoise type manager of this person who just could not accept this, Jim. It drove them ape. And it's like, just so hard for me to change the dynamic in their mind to say, wouldn't you rather get all this great protection? It doesn't matter what time it is. I mean,
That's
we are
right.
so fixated, Dr. Jim, on this. It's crazy.
Oh, and we got to figure
He was
out,
taking his bike out. He was riding his bike at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
that's right. And what's your own energy map? What is your, and talk to your boss. And even when you start off, or when you realize this, say, okay, we need to talk about my energy map of when, and go, what are you talking about? When I get the most done for the company and for us.
Yes.
And trying to figure that, because the afternoon is more of a sprint. We're just trying to get through things. We're trying to execute. We're trying to go. But and people see all busy, but it wasn't of substance. It was just execution of types of things. And we got to look at, when is our executive function working the best, when we're starting to adapt to the stuff that's around us, and we're starting to think through things and all that. And again, this has an energy level. Your family has an energy level. I know if you come home exhausted and then you try to play with the kids, say, and you're just sitting there doing nothing, then
I had to tell my kids, I had to tell my oldest child the other day, I'm like, Paige, do you not see your dad? I go, if I work till 7, after 7:30, I can't do anything. I'm done. If you start engaging me in any high depth conversation about future, I'm useless. And she finally starting to get that flow. Hey, talk to me in the morning, talk to me during the day. But once I'm too old, I can't, my energy level is gone. And so I've been really trying to instruct people, you can't engage me then.
Well, and one of the things that you could do then, Dave, is maybe knock off, instead of going that last 45 minutes and exhausting yourself, is moving that to the morning and use that time for your family. And
so talk about that. You're talking about now managing fatigue.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the managing fatigue side.
Well, some kids at the end of the day, they're so exhausted, and you're trying to sit down and do homework with them, they can't. Especially my FastBraiin kids.
Yeah.
I would say, screw the evening. Who says you got to do homework between 7 and 9?
Who says that? Why is this? People freak out if I do my homework at 5 in the morning. Who cares?
That's right. So I had a huge group that would wake up early and do their homework early. The thing they get is it's the only time, and I wouldn't tell anybody, they could play on their computer, but they got to show me their homework. They show me they did it. They got to I'm going to quiz them, and they got to know the answer, and then they can get 30 minutes on their thing. They don't get it in the evening. So I'm not saying replace the evening time of homework with.
No, you're saying they got an energy management.
They need to decompress.
Yeah, decompress.
That's right.
Hang out with
and
family.
They need to decompress. The other thing is a quick run around the block, or a quick go out and play catch with your kid. Do what? Yeah, go out and play catch with them. So you want them to play and interact? Go out and interact. Go for a walk.
Fatigue can be more mental fatigue, Dr. Jim, than physical. Well, what we're saying, if a kid is mentally fatigued, or an adult worker like I am, my example, Dave, get up and move around a little bit.
Yes,
because you're probably not physically fatigued; you're just mentally fatigued.
No, and you want to drink clear liquids. You want cool things. You want to go. You don't want sugar. What does sugar do? Oh, it gives me a great high. Well, guess what comes after that? Yeah. The crash. And so you get this huge crash after that. And that's where you got to stop. And so I want you individually to start understanding my brain is fast. It's faster than most people. I'm a rabbit. Well, the rabbit can't go straight out all the time. It's got to rest. And when it rests, it needs to rest, not halfway rest, not halfway do your stuff. So that's why I say 20 minutes by the clock, stop. But I'm on a roll. Fine, stop. You won't be on a roll in 40 minutes.
No, it'll be on.
Take a 5-minute break and then get back at it, and you're going to come back strong. If you're trying to do homework or trying to work with a group, when they come back together, they come back strong with a purpose. And that is what energy management is about. It's all, we haven't even talked about time. We've not talked about do this in this time of day, this time of day, and this is what the boss wants. No, when am I energetic? When do I feel like doing it? When can I do that?
Yes.
And that's the whole thing. And so then when you start looking at the challenges of that energy, it's really not. It's really just the challenges. I got to take what I got to do and shove it into the time when I love to do it.
Yeah, you
And
look at you prioritize your activities based on your energy, or you
yeah,
move your activities around. They need thinking time. Well, this is what I have my thinking capabilities going. I need more, jumping back and forth a little bit. Well, that's when I can go into this flow concept. And all right, maybe I exercise in the afternoon because my mental's spent out, and I just should get some
yep.
physical going that might re-engage me a bit and help me detox from all the mental stuff.
Well, and I think you'll find, which most people find, is that after a period of exercise, you're a lot more alert. You
Mhm.
might be a little tired, but you're a lot more alert. And so I would find that if I took a lunch and exercised, when I came back, I was so much sharper than if I had been trying to work through lunch or drag through a lunch meeting and eating a
So
yucky
I want an
sandwich
appointment
and
with
doing
you
all
at
that.
2 o'clock. I want to make sure my Dr. Jim appointment's at 2 o'clock, right after your workout.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So let's
So
talk about. We don't have that much time. We've really dumped into a lot of stuff here, but let's talk about stress for a second. So talk about your fast brain people and dealing with stress. How come it affects them more?
yeah, stress is the worry of what's going to happen, and anxiety. Depression is it's already happened. Okay,
Yeah.
so stress. You go, well, all right. So the boss has put a lot of stress on me uh, to write this to write this. All right. Well, I'm going to write it, and I'm not stressed at all. Well, I know, but you're you. No. So what does that mean? Stress is what we put on ourselves. 100%. So you need, when you start looking at stress and your brain is going firing off and you're that rabbit and you're going all over the place, you got to hyper focus and try to figure out, what am I stressed about? What is it that is bothering me? And then attack it. And I don't mean kind of attack it, attack it. Is it, I'm stressed out because I need to get the report done. So you know what we do? We think about it for an hour and we thought, oh, I'm so stressed out. No, knock it down, cut it down into 5 main things. I'll do this part for the next 15 minutes, take a break, this part, and nail it. And then all of a sudden, I'm not stressed. No, because you took care of it. So our problem as being fast brain is that we start throwing more and more stuff at ourselves instead of dividing it out. So take your issue, take the stress and divide it out. You say, well, some things you just can't. I mean, it's stressful. No, there's some things that are worrying about that you can't do anything about. And
Control.
if you can't do anything about it, guess what? You can't do anything about it. And so you've got to start understanding your own limitations. But if it is something you can do something about, then get off your duff and do it. And that's the
Do
worry.
fast brain people get stressed out more as they're always being told they can't attack something with some complexity because they can't break it down into those stages? Is that what happens in a lot of cases?
Well, a lot of times we're not given the freedom. We're
Okay,
not.
do it the way you need to do it.
We're put in a box. We're put in a box. You got to go do it this way. That rabbit wants out. I want out. I got to
Yeah.
go and give me a shot. But again, go in short bursts, short bursts, short bursts, and then take that break and attack your stress in those short bursts. Because yes, otherwise it's going to eat you alive. And then you come home and people don't understand us, and then we can't explain ourselves. That's for sure. Why are you sitting there talking and then you think something else? Well, it's because life got boring and I started thinking of something else. So you've got to figure out how to control that. When you're starting to slide, as far as if you and I are in a conversation and you start sliding, you need to say, crap, I'm sliding and I need to get back, and start focus on one thing, focus on my eye, and start, oh, okay, I'll just focus on his eye and now I'm back. And so you realize you keep going. So how long do you have to have conversation? Oh, it's a long time, 90 seconds.
Yeah.
So 10 seconds gets you 30, 30 gets you 90, end of 90 seconds, everybody thinks of something else. So that is just guaranteed. So now, and I like to play the game at the end of 2 minutes. What did you just think about? And they go,
Yeah.
oh, I'm listening to you. No, what did you just think about?
Yeah.
You thought about.
Oh, I got to
something.
make lunch tomorrow, or hey, I got to go shopping this afternoon.
Right.
No, I mean, those are good.
So then it's how fast can I get back on track? And so use your strength. Realize this speed, this is an advantage. This is a sales advantage. This is a communication advantage. This is an advantage of seeing, looking at opportunities. Oh, this is huge.
Yeah, it's never been positioned that way, though. It's never positioned as, no, you got to cut it back. You got to change. You have to focus on this. You have to focus deeply all the time on these things. You got to go slow. You can't run around crazily doing a bunch of stuff at the same time, or, jumping back and forth.
To that point, David, and that's a good point, that is, you might jump over and you're into something and somebody doesn't understand it. You might have to go extra mile or that night at home and sort it out so you can show it to them the next day. That because they don't get it. They will not get it.
Yeah, the tortoise isn't going to match the hare. The hare has to match the tortoise. And that's the sad thing about it. It's like you have to deconstruct the process so they can see it, because they can't see it without that. And the society we live in doesn't ask for the tortoise to try to think the other way.
No. And I started lots of programs with the Army, and you could say, well, why didn't somebody else? I mean, the Army's been going on for just a few years. Why hadn't anybody done that? Because nobody was thinking out of the box. And to me, we just need
You're just a problem. You're just a problem. As you did this work with Andy Elliott, and you did the podcast with him, and he's like aha moments all over the place because, oh my God, that's how I was treated. Oh my gosh, that was I was treated. It's amazing when a FastBraiin person listens to you, their mind is blown, because it's like, oh my gosh, yes, oh yes.
So when you start realizing this is your strength and the things you can't do well, I wrote a book. I was real proud of it, Flipping ADHD on its Head. Best thing I ever did. I showed it to my son in all loose leaf form. And he very proudly looked at me and said, Dad, this is a mess. so yeah, because it was all over the place.
Yeah, you had the partnership. I mean, that's the thing.
My wife had to come along and do the grammar. We all have our strengths. So figure out what your strength is. Don't try to be all things to all people. And
that's right. And then balance it out with other support mechanisms.
I had one patient who was sent to me who was doing mortgages. And he said, and I'm all over the place. And I said, okay. So without medicine, what I want you to do is I want you to hire a secretary. He said, well, I don't have the money to hire a secretary. And he was working for somebody else. I said, all right, I'll tell you what. You hire the secretary. If at the end of a month you haven't doubled your sales, I'll pay your salary. If you have doubled your sales, you're going to take me to the fanciest restaurant in town. He walked in 2 weeks and had tripled his sales because he had somebody to kind of hone him in. It's 9:00. Why aren't you at Mrs. Jones's house? It's 10:30.
Respectfully. That's the problem, is that it doesn't happen respectfully. Parents are disrespectful to their kids. Bosses are disrespectful to their FastBraiin employees. And then they feel down on themselves. They feel shame. But if you match it up to a positive scenario, then you both balance each other out. It's beautiful, like you said.
And one other little trick that I would use for secretaries and people, that they would come and say, I'm just so over. I mean, they asked me to do so much. And I said, good. I want you to put a calendar behind you and 3x5 cards. And I want you to put what you're doing on each day.
And just point to it.
And then you say, well, I need you to write this letter. And you go, okay, so do you want me to do this first or your letter first? And they go, oh, I'll get somebody else to do it. So
I just had to talk to someone today about that. I'm going to throw a bunch of stuff at you. I know you can prioritize. I'm okay with that. I want you to do that. Just move around your priorities and get it done when you can get things done.
The best thing you could have for yourself is that same sticky thing. And don't find yourself getting off on a YouTube between 10 and 10:30 when you should have been doing that. So you've now got to start looking at yourself. And that's what I think the social network has done. It's made all of us kind of throw out schedules. You need to get what is your energy? What energy do you need to get done, and then get it done and take a break. All
right, we have to finish this up. This has been fantastic. Dr. Jim, tell me about the planner, because I think the planner is a powerful tool to help folks with their energy management.
Well, we just, like anybody else, you've got to plan. If you're going to plan to succeed, if you don't plan, what is the statement? If you don't plan, you'll plan to fail. So it's just get a planner. We have a planner. Go to FastBraiin.com. The planner is kind of geared for people whose brains are all over the place. They're firing in with all kinds of ideas. How do we sort that out? What do we need to do today? And what do I need to do tomorrow? Best thing you can do for yourself is clean off your desk at the end of the day. Put one thing out that you're going to do tomorrow. And then that's what you come in and you do. Guess what you'll do? You'll focus in on do it. If you have a planner with the one thing that you need to do, the one thing, then you can start there, and then you can go to that 2 or 3 things, not 6, 7, or 8 things. You put that down in our fast brain. When we see 8 things, we throw up our hands. We don't see anything. You need to see one thing, and then you can see it. So I think getting a planner of some sort, as crazy as planners are, and there are a million out there, we're using one that helps the FastBraiin. Just go to FastBraiin.
Built specifically for FastBraiin people, and you just go to www.fastbrain with 2i's.com, and you can pull down that planner. Dr. Jim, it's been an absolute pleasure as always. Thank you so much.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it. Good luck.